I was never the kind of person who got scared easily. I've lived alone for the past 5 years in a small apartment downtown. It's quiet, peaceful, the kind of place where you can almost forget the rest of the world exists. But a few months ago, something changed. It started with a noise, a dull, heavy thump coming from the wall behind my bedroom. At first, I thought it was just the neighbors, but then I remembered the apartment next door, number 5, had been empty for over a year. The next night, it happened again. Same time, 2:46 a.m., 3 knocks. Slow, even, 1, 2, 3. I wasn't scared, not yet. I went out into the hallway, half asleep, wearing my robe. I stood in front of apartment 5, knocked once. Silence. I waited. Nothing. But then I noticed. The air. Cold air was seeping from under the door. Not like a draft. Colder than the hallway itself, almost heavy, like the air inside had no temperature at all. I went back to bed, trying to laugh it off, but just as I was drifting off to sleep, I heard it. A voice, whispering, from the wall. It said my name. I swear to you. It said my name in a tone that sounded so familiar, I felt the hair on my arms stand straight up. I didn't call building management. I mean, what would I say? Hey, the wall is talking to me. They'd think I'd lost my mind, so I tried to ignore it. Days were normal, but every night, at 2:46, the voice came back. Sometimes it cried, sometimes it laughed. Other times it whispered nonsense, but it always ended with my name. One night, I snapped. I hit the wall and yelled, "What do you want from me?" Silence. Then, a moment later, a voice whispered back, "Don't close the door." I froze, turned around, and watched my bedroom door slowly slide shut on its own. Click. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the floor, eyes fixed on the door, the lights on, waiting for sunrise. When morning finally came, I convinced myself I was just exhausted. But later that day, I heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, dragging steps. I peeked through the peephole. No one. And yet the footsteps kept going, right into apartment 5. A few days later, I asked the janitor about that unit. He looked uncomfortable, said nobody had lived there since the fire. I frowned. "What fire?" I asked. He told me about a woman who used to live there alone. Neighbors had reported loud arguments, voices, bangs, screams. Then one night, smoke started pouring from under the door. The firefighters broke it down. But the strange part was that the flames weren't coming from any furniture. They were coming from inside the walls. After that, nobody wanted the place. No one even bothered to repaint it. That night, at 2:46, the voice returned, but it wasn't whispering anymore. It was weeping. Soft, broken sobs that shook through the plaster. I put my hand on the wall and felt heat, like fire burning behind it. Then, through the static of the noise, I heard it say, "Get me out." I pounded on the wall, once, twice, 3 times, and that's when it happened. The plaster cracked, thin lines spread like veins. A smell of smoke and burnt wood filled the room. Then, a hand, thin, blackened, trembling, slid out from between the cracks. It clawed at the air, then at the floor. Then it stopped moving, and the voice said, "Now, you're here with me." My chest felt like it was burning from the inside. I couldn't breathe. I fell backward, and everything went black. I woke up 3 days later in the hospital. The doctor said they found me unconscious in my apartment. He said the wall behind my bed was burned from the inside out, but there was no fire, no wiring. just a black handprint melted into the plaster. I asked if anyone had gone into apartment 5. He looked confused, said there is no apartment 5. That floor only has 4 units. I thought he was lying, so a week later, I went back, and he was right. Where the door to number 5 should be, there's only a solid wall, smooth, freshly painted. But if you stand there, completely still, at exactly 2:46 a.m., you can still hear it. 3 slow knocks. 1, 2, 3. From the other side. Story number 2. The Substitute. I used to teach history at Westbridge High School, a quiet, ordinary place. The kind of school where nothing ever really happens. At least, that's what I thought. Everything changed when we got a new substitute teacher. Her name was Miss Harrow. Tall, pale, hair tied tight in a bun, and eyes that never seemed to blink long enough. She was assigned to take over room 213 after the last teacher, Mr. Grayson, suddenly resigned. No one ever said why. The first day she arrived, the students noticed something strange. When she spoke, the lights flickered, every single time. And when she smiled, it didn't look like a smile at all. It looked like someone imitating one. At first, I thought it was just nerves, new teacher, old building, bad wiring. But the janitor, an old man named Carl, pulled me aside one afternoon and whispered, "Room 213 shouldn't be used." Not again, I laughed it off. He didn't. He looked at me with eyes that had seen too much. "They never cleaned it right," he said. "Not after what happened." I didn't ask what he meant. Maybe I should have. A few days later, I had to cover one of Miss Harrow's classes. She had left early, said she felt unwell. I unlocked the door to room 213 and immediately felt it. That strange, heavy stillness. The air was cold, but not the kind of cold you feel on your skin. It was inside, like the room was holding its breath. The desks were perfectly arranged, too perfect, every chair facing forward, every notebook closed, but the smell was faint, metallic, like dried blood. On the chalkboard, someone had written, "Don't answer when she calls your name." I stood there for a long time, staring at those words. Then, slowly, I heard something, a whisper from the back of the room. "Mr. Lane." I turned around. No one. The room was empty. Then again, softer. "Mr. Lane." It was coming from the supply closet. I walked toward it, heart pounding, every step louder than the last. I reached for the handle, but before I could touch it, the whisper came again. But this time, it was my own voice. "Don't open it." I froze. The door rattled violently, as if something inside had slammed against it. Then silence. I turned to leave, but the classroom door was already closed, and written across it, in thick chalk letters, was a message I hadn't seen before. "She's here." That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, Miss Harrow, standing in front of the class, motionless, her face pale, her mouth slightly open, as if whispering something to the students. The next morning, I went straight to the principal's office, but when I mentioned her name, his face went blank. "Who?" he asked. "Miss Harrow," I said, "the new substitute. Room 213. He frowned. "There's no substitute assigned to that room, and Mr. Grayson still works here. He's teaching right now." I laughed nervously. Thought maybe it was some mix-up, so I walked down the hall, past the lockers, past the flickering light at the end, and there it was, room 213. The door was open. Students sat at their desks, quiet, focused, and at the front stood Mr. Grayson, alive, teaching, smiling. But when I looked at the board, there was something written behind him, just faint enough to read. It said, "You answered." I don't remember leaving the school. I don't remember driving home. All I remember is the phone ringing that night. When I picked up, no one spoke, just a faint sound of chalk dragging slowly across a board. Then, my name, soft, precise. "Mr. Lane," and then her voice. "Don't close your eyes." Pause 3 seconds. They found me the next morning in my classroom. The windows blacked out, the walls covered in words, every wall, every word written in my handwriting. I answered, "She's inside." Don't close your eyes. Pause. Let silence linger for 5 seconds.